Good afternoon, students. Welcome all of you in this. So you are studying that the chapter the enemy. Do the same. Come to the page number 13. Okay. Come to the page number 13. So the messenger came. So that because that two things happened. One thing happened, major thing, that all the servants left the house because they were scary. And the second thing which happened that would discuss after that the case general that he was again in a bad condition, so Sada would have been called. Okay, so definitely general came and then messenger came and about that the ill condition of the general, he is in pain again. What problem? Only this was the problem. Then indeed he that he said is not enough. Then Hena replied, very sorry for that. When Sada, she was in the kitchen, were asleep, and she sat merely resting for a moment, more exhausted from her fright than from her work. So she was in frightful condition all the time. She was, but she was in frightful. Why she was in frightful? Because she was thinking that the servants would go and inform. Definitely a great the family. So next would continue after that. I thought they had come to arrest you, she said. Hannah said. He gazed down in the anxious eyes. I must get rid of the man for your sake, he said in distress. Somehow I must get of them. Sada goes. So he gazed down in the anxious eyes. Who is he actually referred? Dr. Sadao. Anxious eyes. He was also thinking that any time the servants would go, other people would go and definitely inform the police that their family had harbored an American. So this is definitely very wrong because they were the enemies. I must get rid of the man for your sake, he said in distress. Somehow I must get rid of him. So get rid. Rid means what? Free from them. So he was very much desperate to get rid of that man, American prisoner. So as a professional loyalty, he had definitely saved, but national loyalty, now that duty has clashed. Now national loyalty, now Sadao understood that he definitely would do something to get rid of that man. Sadao goes to see the general. Here we can see Sadao goes to see the general. Okay, of course the general said weakly, I understand fully, but that is because I took a degree in Princeton. What is Princeton? Princeton is a university. You know, if you have taken the degree from the Princeton University, you are recognized. Okay, so few Japanese have that. In Japan, those who have taken the degree from the Princeton University, definitely you are recognized that you are a good scholar, you are a good candidate. And general saying that I understand because I once took also the degree from Princeton University. I care nothing for the man, excellency, Sadao said. For the excellency of the man, I don't care. Whatever I have done only for sake of what? Only for the sake of professional loyalty. But now what I would, that's a different thing. I don't care for the what? Excellency of that man. On him with such success. Yes, the general said. General said what? General said that better, okay, and it only makes me feel you more indispensable to me. Evidently, you can save anyone. You are so skilled for that. Okay, you are so skilled. So general also knew because several times earlier also he had been saved. He had been operated by Dr. Sadao. So he knew properly the skill of Dr. Sadao. Okay. So general said, I know that you can save anyone. You are so. I can stand one more such attack as I have had today. You say you think I can stand one more such attack that I had today. So today I had actually found problem that I had that one major attack. No more than one, Sadao said. no more than 1, then certainly I can allow nothing to happen to you. Then I can allow definitely nothing would happen to you. General say anxiety, he had that having anxiety, that he would be treated again. His long Japanese face became expressionless. He did not have any expression in the face, which meant that he was in deep thought. You can't be arrested. He said, as a general, as a major, he had that power that he would definitely arrest Dr. Sadao. But why he did not do? The question is here. Why he did not do? Because he knew probably be in trouble, illness. Dr. Sadao have that skill. No other doctors in Japan have that skill to operate, okay, to treat the patient like that way, which Sadao have. Okay, so he said what a line, that see that I can't arrest. You can't be arrested. Okay, you can't be arrested. It's given already here. You can't be arrested. The general said now, then closing his eyes, suppose you were condemned to death and the next day I had to have my operation. The general said, closing his eyes, suppose you were condemned to death. Condemned to death, that means what? That would be actually arrested, or you would be actually forced to, okay, to do something. So you would be condemned to death and the next day I had to have my operation. The next day I had my operation. Then what to do? There are, what the Dr. Sadao said, there are other surgeons, Excellency. No problem. If I would die, I would be arrested. Then there are the other surgeons in the country, not only me. Next, after that, let's check. Okay. Next, see after that. There are the let me check where I had actually. There are the other surgeon, Excellency. None I trust. What he had said? None I trust. General said, none I had trust. No one I had that trust. The general replied, the best ones have been trained by Germans and would consider the operation successful even if I died. So this is the sense of irony, humor. See that the sense of irony, the best ones have been trained by Germans. In the Germany, there are the many trained doctors who would consider the operation successful even if I did. So even if I would die, that time also all the other surgeons would claim that definitely the operation was successful. The sense of, okay, by the general. I don't the point of view side. It seems a pity that we can't better combine the German ruthlessness with the American sentimentality. So you have that German ruthlessness with that American sentimentality, and that you could turn your prisoner over to execution, and yet I could be sure that you would not murder me while I was unconscious. So the combination, what that it seems pity that we can't better combine the German ruthlessness with the American sentimentality. So American sentimentality, that means what sentimentality? That means that he had trained actually in America. So both combination required, both the combination. Okay, sentimentalism one side, another side national loyalty. So both combination is very, very urgent. So both required. Then you could turn your prisoner over to execution, and yet I could be sure you would not murder me while I was unconscious. So you have that sense of national loyalty. You have that sense of what? Professionalism. As a doctor, as a profession, as you had treated the Americans, I know that you could treat me like that. So general had the faith in Dr. Sadao. He could treat at the time of danger, at the time of what? Illness. The general laughed. He had an unusual sense of humor as a Japanese. Could you not combine these two foreign elements? Could you not combine? Again, better line. Could you not combine these two foreign elements? He asked. Okay. Sadao smiled. I am not quite sure. He said, but for your sake, I would be willing to try, Excellency. I am not quite sure that I have the amalgamation of both the qualities. one side Japanese, another side Americans, but I'm trying my level best. Okay, I'm trying, let me try my level best so that I could do. Okay, he said what he said, that but for your sake I would be willing to try, my excellency. The general shook his head. I had rather not be the test case. Okay, the test case. He said he felt suddenly weak and overwhelmed with the cares. Overwhelmed means surprised. Okay, overwhelmed means what? That overwhelmed means surprised with the cares of the life as an official. Okay, as an official in times such as this, when repeated victory brought great responsibilities all over. So there is a war background. What is given? That the general said that he felt suddenly weak and overwhelmed with the cares of the life, an official in times such as this, when repeated victory brought great responsibilities. Great victories. Okay, at the time of Second World War, we know that the war background of the story all over the South Pacific, that place, the name of the place given, South Pacific side. And after that, it is very unfortunate that this man should have washed up your doorstep, he said irritably. It is definitely irritation, in a sense of irritation. This man, who is this man? This man means American prisoner. This man is American prisoner. This man should have washed up on your doorstep. And he said irritably, I feel it so myself, Sadao said gently. I feel it to myself only, that the man actually had come to side, and as a doctor I had nothing to do, only to treat the American prisoner, even though I knew that he was my enemy. It would be best if he could be quietly killed. It would be better, actually, it would have been best if he would be quietly, very quietly, no one would know actually, then would actually we could assassinate or killed. The general said, not by you, but someone who does not know him. So it is better na, that you would not kill, but by someone who doesn't know him. But it is the proper time that the man to be murdered. Who said? General, because he is our enemy. And it was definitely unfortunate. What unfortunate? That the person had washed up to your doorstep. You could do nothing, and you did not do. As a doctor, as a profession, by your profession, as a professional doctor, you had treated. It's okay with it. But next, the man to be murdered, to be assassinated. I have my own private assassins. Who are the assassins? Professional murderers, one who assassinate. Okay, kill with the money. Suppose I send two of them to your house tonight, or better any night, you need know nothing about it. It is now warm condition. What would be more natural that then you should leave the outer partition of the white man's room open to the garden while he sleeps. What would be more natural? That you should leave the outer partition, white man's room, open to the garden side while he sleeps. Certainly it would be very natural. Sadao agreed also. So Sadao was deeply imploring and thinking. Okay, so he was in deep thought and said, agreed, definitely, that is the better plan. In fact, it is so left open every night. It is left open every night. So that part, that planning of assassination could be okay with it. No problem. Good. The general said, yawning now. You know the yawning after sleep, that we yawn. They are very capable assassins, I know. They make no noise and they know the trick of inward bleeding. You know that the trick of inward bleeding. What is inward bleeding? The murder takes place inwardly, not outside. So the other people could not locate the particular place of the murder, particular location of body. If you murder, that is called inward bleeding. If you like, I can even them remove the body. That one calls also, I can even have them remove the body. So no problem. Definitely this is the one option left. And this is the one option in which Sadao also agreed. Sadao considered the fact that this is okay with it. That perhaps would be the best idea. That would be the perhaps the best idea. Excellency, he agreed, thinking of Henna. He left the general presence then and went home thinking over the plan. In this way, the whole thing would be taken out of the hands and he would tell Hannah nothing. Since he would be timid, the idea of assassins in the in the house, and yet certainly such person were essential in an absolute state such as Japan was. So you would tell Hannah. Now Dr. Sadao went to the house and he would tell Hannah nothing. Since he would be timid, timid means definitely fearful, okay? Timid person. One who doesn't have the strength to, okay? The timid person. So she would be timid at the idea of assassins, murder in the house. So yet certainly such person were essential in an absolute state such as Japan was. How else could rulers deal with those who opposed them? So he said that how could the rulers actually deal with who opposed them? So the only option left, that is assassination. But it not be good to what? Express the matter to Hannah. He refused to allow anything but reason to be the atmosphere of this mind as he went into the room where the Americans was in bed. He refused to allow anything but reason to be the atmosphere of the mind as he went into the room where the Americans was in bed. But as he opened the door, to his surprise, he found the young man out of bed and preparing to go into the garden. So what he had seen when he approached, opened the door, he had seen the young man, the American prisoner, out of the bed, and he was preparing to go into the garden side. What is this? He exclaimed. Who gave you the permission to leave your room? Dr. Sada was very surprised and asked a question. Okay. And then after, I am not used to waiting for permission, Tom said. So what was his name? Tom, gaily, okay, in a gaily condition. Goes, I feel pretty good again. Gaily means happily. Goes means oh, Japanese expression. Oh, I feel pretty good again. But will the muscles on the side always feel stiff? One side of the muscles he felt all the time stiff. So will the muscles will feel stiff? He asked the question. Okay, it is so. Sadao inquired. Okay, surprised. He forgot all else. Now I thought I had provided against that. He murmured. He lifted the edge of the man's shirt and gazed at the healing, the area in which that the bullet was there, healing part. Let's check after that. Healing, scar. Scar means mark, you know. Now massage may do it, he said. If exercise does not. Massage would be the better option. If exercise does not, then massage would be the better option. It won't bother me much. The young man said his young face was gaunt under the stubbly blonde beard. His young face was gaunt. Gaunt means went down. Okay, pale. Under the stubbly blonde beard. He had that blondie. You know the blondie here, curly. So blondie beard also. He had having that. Okay. He was gaunt under the stubbly blonde beard. Stubbly, that means coming out too much. Doctor, I have got something I want to tell you. If I hadn't met as a Jap like you, Jap means Japanese, shortened form, well, I would not be alive today. I know that. Sadao bowed, but he could not speak. Sure, I know that. Tom went on warmly, his big thin hands gripping a chair were white at the knuckles. I guess if all the Japs were like you, there wouldn't have been a war. I guess if all the Japs were like you, that there wouldn't have been a war. Okay? So, sure, I know that. Tom went to warmly. So his big thin hands gripping white as knuckles. So he said that I guess if all the Japanese were like you, there would not have been a war. Perhaps, Sadao said difficulty. Yes. And now I think you had better to go back to bed. He helped the boy back into the bed and then bowed. Good night, he said. Okay? He said good night. So this is the class of what actually you know. This is the class of two different mindset. The American prisoner also knew properly that Dr. Sadao was a good human being. Being a professional doctor, he was a good human being also. Okay? So what he said, that I know that all the people, all the Germans, all the peoples were like that. Definitely it had be a great help for you. Understood? So this is the class, this is the understanding of American Tom understood properly about Japanese Dr. Sadao. So he knew properly. Dr. Sadao was a good professional and good human being also. Okay. Now up to today's class, up to here. Okay. So let me discuss that one. After that we'll stop. Perhaps Sadao said difficult, and now I think you would better to go back to bed. He helped the boy back into the bed and both then good night, he said. Up to here. Any more questions, then ask me for today's class. Tomorrow again I'll continue. Any more doubt, then ask me. Please explain page number 40 first 2 para. Page number 40 first 2 para. Okay. I thought they had come. First give me that answer, that I will give the another answer. First listen first. Don't be impatient. Try to understand. I thought they had come to arrest you, she said. When Hannah actually came and then said that they had arrested you, he gazed down the anxious. I must get rid of this man. Somehow I must get rid of him. Of course, the general said weakly, then I understand fully that because I once took a degree in Princeton, few Japanese have. This one I have discussed. So your next question I would take out. Why general said that you can't be arrested? General said you can't be arrested because general knew that if you would have been trouble in future, the one man only could save, that was Dr. Sadao. So that's why can't be arrested is a different word, I think, not arrested. So he had that, what you can say, favorism. You know the favorism means if I would help you, then you would help me in future. So general knew that if I would be in danger, physically he was ill, he had been treated earlier, so only doctor left in the Japan who had that skill, Dr. Sadao. So you can't be arrested. That means that he would not arrest. Whatever the situation would come in future, he would not be arrested. Even though general knew that Dr. Sadao had actually committed a crime. What crime? He had harbored an enemy of America. General said that could you combine these two foreign elements? General said that if you combine two foreign elements, one side understanding the national loyalty, another side what? His professional skill, his professional loyalty. One side professional loyalty and another side national loyalty. If these two combination would definitely be there, then it would be better for a person. So that's why he said, could you be possess the two foreign elements, okay, as a professional element treating the patient, and another element that loyal to the nation. This is the two combination. Any more question, then ask me. Why general said to Sadao, you would not murder me? I am sure for that. You would not murder me is a sense of irony, sense of joke apart. He said you would not murder me. You would not murder me, that means you would not actually serve me as a doctor. I am sure about it. If I would be again ill, then you are the doctor who would help me. So murder means not here killing. Murder means what? That without treating, without treatment, without operation. Okay, so he said in an ironical tone that I know that you would not murder me, you would not let me to get any problem, because you are a good human being, you are a good doctor, you have that skill No other doctors in Japan have that skill like Dr. Sadao had. So if I would be in trouble in future again, you would not let me go. You would definitely treat me. That skill you have, that sense you have. Okay, no more questions. Any more questions, other student? One, actually, the notice that I would send you, one information I want to share. Listen carefully, that every Friday I would take the class, your online class, in Google Meet. So that class only interactions will be going on. Any problems, any confusion, any questions not understood till up to the Thursday, whatever I have taught, so that day you can ask me the questions. Okay. So on every Friday, the same time, I would take the online class in Google Meet, not YouTube live classes. So that day, whatever the problem you have, you can note down and then you can ask me. Okay. So this was the information I wanted to share to the students, those who have any questions, any query related to the topic, you can ask on that Friday in Google Meet. So that day I would discuss in detail. So this is an interaction class. Okay, all the important questions, whatever you have, you would discuss. I would give another important questions. So you can say this class is like that interaction class. Any problem, so that day I would discuss. Every Friday English class will be taken in Google Meet. Okay, thank you for today's class. I think no more questions. Thank you for being with me. Keep in your mind that Google class, okay, Google Meet I would take every Friday same time. Tomorrow I would continue the same chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.